That's a tough crowd when you're singing and there's silence. Nobody claps. In your heart you feel the violence. When you play well and you know it, but the crowd doesn't show it. Only one thing you can say, you should say it out loud. That's a tough crowd. You tell a joke to the room and it's funny. Nobody laughs, but the joke was so funny. It went exactly how you planned it, but they don't understand it. Only one thing you can say, you should say it out proud. That's a tough crowd. They yell out, please play it. They say play Brown Eyed Girl, but you don't, cause you hate it. Cause your own song is awesome, yet but somehow you lost them. Only one thing you can say, you should say it out proud. That's a tough crowd. That's a tough crowd. That's a tough crowd. My teenage years are getting sort of hazy, but I know I remember I know something about you. That's when the devil gets inside, and he wants to go for a ride. She said, you wanna go for a ride? He said, I wanna go for a ride. Yeah, take me for a ride.
What is up, everybody? Like my camera's right here. This is Truck Stop Mixtape. Craziness, you know, it ain't a Truck Stop Mixtape episode without some sort of craziness. That was The Howling Faith. I think the song is called A Thing or Two. Check them out at thehowlingfaith.com. And right after that, there was Scott Persico, a song called King's Road. And I'll try to share his information later. He's got a specific Facebook page. But right now, let's go to our special invited guest, Mr. David Brookings, who's going to treat us with a song. Go ahead, David.
What's up, Truck Stop Mixtape? Please listen, you don't know what you're missing. Nowhere, man. The world is at your command. Should I start over?
Why don't you, man? Why don't you? I just have to. This has been zaniness because this is the first time I have somebody in the room.
It's okay.
And how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, once you switch back to your camera, I can hear him.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, David Brookings.
It's an honor to be here on my first Truck Stop Mixtape, live or remote. Thought I'd kick us off with John Lennon's song. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. Doesn't have a point of view, knows not where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Nowhere, man, please listen. You don't know what you're missing. Nowhere, man, the world is at your command. He's as blind as he can be, and just sees what he wants to see. Nowhere, man, can you see me at all? Nowhere, man, don't worry. Take your time, don't hurry. Play it off till somebody else lends you a hand. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. Making all his nowhere plans for nobody. Making all his nowhere plans for nobody.
David Brookings, y'all, here on Truck Stop Mixtape. I think we're finally getting into what it's supposed to be sounding like. I think. Thank you for warming us up with that first one, David. I really appreciate it. I'm going to play another song real quick, and when we come back, I'm going to be talking with David about stuff in general, especially his brand new record. This is Shine Closer to Home. Here we are, y'all. This is Truck Stop Mixtape. And that was Shine Closer to Home. We're just going to look at our cameras just to make sure that it looks like we're talking to each other. We're in the same room. I can just go like this, you know. We're in the same room.
It's true. By the way, this room is cool. I feel like I'm on Wayne's World. I like it. It's really cool.
It definitely has that vibe. With including the stairs coming down.
All right. Yeah, it does.
So David, thank you again for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with you right now. This new record, Mania at the Talent Show, just came out on your birthday.
That's right. Yeah. I thought it'd be cool since November 12th is a Friday, and that's traditionally, industry street dates are Friday, so time it out. And then as we started to get midsummer, thinking that it was almost done, I like to give a little lead time before it's actually done. And you got to figure out time for get it mixed and mastered and all that, and then some kind of lead time to send it out to the people to review it and get it timed to have all that happen. So it just seemed like a good time to do it mid-fall.
The record itself, how did you start writing songs for it? And I mean, I know that the last one you released, it was with a band, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last one was 2019, and I still lived in the Bay Area. Moved to LA shortly after that. And then, of course, COVID hit. I'm always writing songs, so I start one record as soon as the one before it ends. But in between the last band record and this one, I put together this anthology, which was sort of just old recordings I had laying around and demos and alternate takes and
it's like
live stuff.
Songs or
it's
like
50 songs, just stuff that had never come out before. And also the nerve of someone like me, who's not on a label or anything, to put out an anthology just seemed funny and like a good waste of time. Yeah.
Well, anything for people to get to know you better. But
people leave too much stuff laying around. You have to put your stuff out, or what's the point of doing it?
Or someone else will do it for you.
Right. So, someone else will do it for you.
So you might as well do it.
Right.
This record, Mania at the Talent Show. What's the idea behind the title?
The title comes from. I was trying to think of what got me.
Okay. Thank you.
In actuality, it most certainly was not Mania, but it was enough people clapping and being like, yeah, that it was instantly like, I know what I want to do. I'm on the right path. I'm going to keep going. So then a song came from it, and I kind of liked the title for the title of the album. So it was one of those times where I wrote a song around, well, actually that song I wrote called Mania at the Talent Show was one of the last songs that came about for it. Had it as an album title before I had it as a song. And then I had a pretty good batch of songs by then. I recorded this record with my friend in Virginia, file sharing. So it's no more or less a band record than the others. It's really just, instead of David Brookings and the Average Lookings, this one's just under my name solo, since the Average Lookings weren't around. They were in the Bay Area. Right. So I am myself, the Average Lookings on this one, so to speak.
You consistently released many records over the last, I want to say like 10,
20 years. Yeah.
20 years, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What makes this particular record a new experience for you? What is it that separates it from the other ones?
Well, because it's the latest one and it's new.
It's new.
That separates it. But also, I really do think, I think the production on this one is really solid and really sort of modern. More modern maybe than some of my others. The drums are a little louder in it. I tried to be open-minded to Josh's ideas. The guy did it with Josh Galera. We did my first record together in Virginia in 2000. So 21 years ago now. The first record was called Sounds Off because I was in a band called The Sound. So when I left The Sound, Sounds Off. So we joked about calling this one Sounds On. But anyway, we worked together over Logic. He's a master at Logic. I'm a novice at it, but I used to do all my demos on GarageBand. Of course, Logic is just a step up from that. So he showed me some tips and tricks on it. It's crazy to think I did this one just in my little, music room upstairs in my house, and then would send him to him. He's a great drummer. He would put some drums on, a little bass. We had a couple cameos from a few former Average Lookings. So it was like, I remember one night it was me in LA, him in Richmond, Virginia, and our other bass player friend in San Jose, California, all three of us recording parts and bits for this album. So it was very cross country kind of collaboration on it.
I'm about to play the song Hard Times. It's my favorite cut off the record. You were saying before about how the record is more modern sounding, and I think that what's after this meeting you earlier this year when we were doing that Make Music Topanga thing.
Yeah.
I kind of dove into your back catalog. And it was just really cool to kind of do experience all that stuff, including the anthology, by the way.
Right. The nerve.
But then, shortly after you released those two singles, and it was an enlightening experience for me, because just to kind of quickly experience a lot of your catalog, and then hear from the anthology all the way through all this records to hear Hard Times.
Right.
And you've definitely allowed yourself to kind of be you've evolved in a way that it's like you sound more natural now in a weird, I don't know.
I think I know what you mean. I really do. Hard Times just was, I'm trying to write it about these times we're in where it's COVID and it's weird and everybody's kind of, there really is a strangeness in the air. But if you go down the road and you just talk to your neighbor, your people down the road, it's probably they'll be like, hey man, it's so I veered off into what the song is about, but sound wise, I do think it's a growth and a new level, I guess, or layer. So and this was the last song I wrote and recorded for the record. I was like, this one's got to go on the album. It's either got to be the first song or the last song. Make it the last song. Chances of people hearing it go way down, so let's make it first.
That's perfect. It's perfect. My favorite David Brookings song, Hard Times. Here we go, y'all.
How much more can I take? I've been trying not to These are strange days. There's an outrage. Everything's fine. It's just hard but I'm swimming in my pool through the hard times. If you walk down the street, there's new people you can meet in the hard times. And they feel it too. So it's up to you. It's gonna be fine. It's just hard.
Oh, that cut off soon. We're back.
Yeah. That's the edit.
These things happen. These things happen. So we had this funny thing pointed out to us that when David was sitting here, somehow before in his position,
Is it lining up now?
it's like
One of the funniest things ever.
Look,
Is it lining up
the
now?
crazy thing is like the mic stand is almost lining up to you, and it's man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I gotta switch you back so it's like it's not like crazy. From Hard Times, would you like to play us another song?
I would. This one's called One of Us is Crazy, the other one is Me. And where do songs come from? I don't know. I do know, on this one I actually won't say. It's so personal. Although, I gotta say, I take stuff from books sometimes or movies. And there's a scene in the Chris Farley movie Black Sheep where David Spade is about to get his ass kicked by, who's the guy, the crazy, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Right? Because he's on his turf and he's about to go in his trailer. And David Spade goes, let's call off Operation One of Us is Crazy and just forget all about this. So I think subliminally I've seen Black Sheep so many times that this may have come from that. The idea of one of us is crazy, the other one is me. So see what you think of it. Try so hard to keep the peace, but you're like a hurricane rolling down the beach. Storms are coming in and there's nowhere to go. I wish that I could let it pass, but oh no, no. There's something wrong with you, and it's obvious to see. One of us is crazy, the other one is me. Sometimes it's good again, and everything is fine. Then you get it in your head. It's about that time. I sidestep the landmines, but I'm getting tired. Then you really pour it on, the gasoline on fire. Ask anybody, and they'll tell you the truth for free. One of us is crazy, the other one is me. And then there's a ripping solo by Josh on this part. And just imagine there's also the bass, and there's keyboard, and there's organ, and there's some drums. There's a double track guitar, and the solo's still wailing. TV. One of us is crazy, the other one is me. And then this is called Key Change. Mountains out of molehills, relationship pollution. I think the worst part is you got a problem for every solution. So I think I'm out now. The train's on the track. I wish that I could fix it, but I can't fix it back. 'Cause there's something wrong with you, and it's obvious to see. One of us is crazy, the other one is me. Oh yeah, one of us is crazy, the other one is me. Yeah, yeah, one of us is crazy, the other one is me. Yeah, that's one of mine.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me ask you a question about your beginnings. You were saying how the whole talent show experience kind of kicked off everything for you. What's your first memory of hearing a song where you thought, this is what I want to do?
When I was, I just turned 43, like you said, so I was an 80s kid, right? And I was obsessed with the Monkees TV show, which MTV started re-airing in, I think, 86, 87. Just loved it. And I thought, well, first of all, Davy Jones was the only person I have ever or will ever literally want to be. I wanted to be him. Told my dad I want to be that guy. Not like him. I want to be that guy. He was getting every girl in every episode. It was awesome. And he was like, I don't think you want to be him. He's 5'3". Anyway, and then I find out there's these other guys who the Monkees are based on called the Beatles. Well, around this time I found my dad's box of records. And he had these great 60s records. He had Turtles and Herman's Hermits and Bob Dylan and Lovin' Spoonful and Mamas and Papas, and then the Beatles. I'm looking at them, and I just thought, well, my hair looks like these guys. What do they sound like? That was what drew me. He had the Help record. Then I put it on. It was the best thing I'd ever heard. And I got a guitar around then. I was 9 when I got my first guitar. I started writing songs pretty much right away, but the first song I wrote that I felt like was good enough to play was the one I did at that talent show I was telling you about. So, and it's like, it's a good thing and a bad thing, a blessing and a curse to just straight up know from being 9 years old what you want to do. But I'm happy with how it's been. I've just been chasing that thing ever since.
It's turned out all right.
Yeah, it's been good.
Right. You've had a lot of adventures along the way.
It's been fun.
Could you give us a little snippet of that song?
Of the first one? Sure, I can try. Well, first of all, it was in C, and I would say it was before my voice dropped, but I still sing kind of high. So
has your voice changed at all?
Yeah, actually, it was funny. Yeah, that's funny. So. So in modern times, I would sing it. I'll try it original key. There's a girl that I want, and she's all that I desire. She's the one that I love, and she's all that I require. She's all I'll ever want. All right, it is too high. She's all I'll ever want and all I'll ever need. The song sucked, but it just did those 4 chords over and over. But when I finished it at that talent show, it seemed good. I was a dorky looking little kid. I had glasses. I had like not a Dumb and Dumber haircut, but kind of shorter than it is now, sort of a bowl. And I remember this neon 80s looking sweatshirt that just said rock and roll on it. And I played that thing, and when I hit that last chord, it just just seemed right. It was great. It was fun.
That's awesome. Let's move on a little bit further in. Where did you grow up exactly?
I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and it was my sister and I, and I started playing guitar. Like I say, I made my first band when I was 15. I would play in little clubs in Richmond where they would let me, before you're 21. But there were places that would let me get in there in between. I remember I played in between a comedy show once, this little bar in Richmond. And then I had a band. We played all the time. I put out a record in Richmond, the one with Josh I was telling you about when I was 21. And then I moved to Memphis, Tennessee in the summer of 2001. Stayed there for a while. Got a cool job at Sun Studio where Elvis and Johnny Cash and those 50s guys started. It was a blast to work there and an honor to show people around where Elvis started. And got to record the next 3 records in that room, right where Cash did Folsom Prison Blues. It was a trip. So I worked there and till from 2003 to 2009, and that was a great job.
Going back a little bit to the whole Beatles thing, you've obviously they're definitely a big influence on you and your entire musical career. When did you decide to do the 209 songs?
Yeah,
online.
So I did that one, and I moved from Memphis to San Jose, California in 2009, and around middle 2010 I started this project. It was kind of just like a study on songwriting. So I thought, I know a lot of the Beatles songs, let me just try to plow through them chronologically and record one a day, and I'll do it. My rule to myself was I had to post one a day. So if I was going somewhere for a weekend, I would record 2 or 3. But then I had to post one each day. And they started getting hits and people started watching them. So I finished Please Please Me. And then I went into With the Beatles and A Hard Day's Night. And Shelby, my wife, did harmonies on some and was wishing that it would all just end at the same time. I'm sure she was sick of it. Because if I did, I was, a monster about it. If I would F up or mess up, I'd make myself start again. She was filming me on half. I'd be like, start over. The baby's coughing in the back, as if that matters now. But anyway, I got through them all. It took 209 days, and it was really a fun, crazy thing to do.
I've got one of those songs right here now to play. I should have known better. With your wife. So here's a taste, y'all. Truck Stop Mixtape, David Brookings, Shelby.
Hey everybody, welcome back to 209 Beatles songs in 209 days. My name's David Brookings, this is Shelby Brookings. Song today is I Should Have Known Better. This is an awesome song. It's a John song. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs actually, and we're going to try it right now. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you guys so much for listening. The song tomorrow is If I Fell. If I Fell is an amazing song too. All these songs from here on out for the next 200 or so are pretty much awesome. Thanks again so much for listening. David Brookings, Shelby Brookings, 209 Beatles songs in 209 days.
There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. There's a black cat caught in the high tree top. There's a flagpole rack and the wind won't stop. I stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running around my brain. I guess I'm always hoping that you'll end this rain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. There's a fossil that's trapped in a high cliff wall. That's my soul. There's a dead salmon frozen in a waterfall. That's my soul. There's a blue whale beach by a springtime sea. That's my soul. There's a butterfly trapped in a spider's web. That's my soul. We stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running around my brain. I'm always hoping that you'll end this rain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. There's a king on the throne with his eyes torn out. There's a blind man looking for a shadow of doubt. There's a rich man sleeping on a golden bed. There's a skeleton choking on a crust of bread. King of pain. There's a red fox torn by a huntsman's knife. That's my soul. There's a black-winged gull with a broken back. That's my soul. There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. We stood here before inside the pouring rain, with the world turning circles running around my brain. I guess I'm always hoping that you'll end this rain, but it's my destiny to be the king of pain. I'll always be king of pain. I'll always be king of pain. I'll always be king of pain.
King of Caves. Let me turn this around for a second. Careful, close up. We do this thing every week, Truck Stop Mixtape, and every week is a different theme. Sometimes we do new music, but sometimes we do tribute to artists, and the last tribute we did was to the Police, and sometimes songs don't get in time, or we don't communicate properly, and so that was one of the leftovers, but it's a cool version of King of Pain by King of Caves. And now we're back with David. I'm hearing a lot of buzz, but there we go. Let me check your mic real quick. We switched mics on David. All right. Hopefully Mr. Fonda Let me know how it sounds like out there. I'll move my mic. Whoops. Hello. All right. Woo! Back in business. I see some people in the house. Bobby Swamp, Dolph Chaney. He
Dolph
says
Chaney,
the
what's up,
CD
dude?
arrived safe and sound.
Oh, good. What's up, dude? Dolph's a talented dude.
Yes, he is.
I was
crazy.
mortified that I didn't get to that show a few weeks ago and that I missed it. There was something came up.
It was really, really good. It was a nice surprise, man. We kind of forget just coming back to. We're still all kind of getting back into the playing out.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And to have 4 really talented singer-songwriters and have a show with the purpose of actually, hey, say a little something about your song and give a little context and a little, backstory. And it was moving. It was really cool, man. And Dolph was, he was very entertaining and great. So, but you gotta do one soon, man.
Yeah, I'd love to. Sure.
But let's go back to I wanna kind of rewind a little bit and talk about your time in Memphis.
Yeah.
Because obviously Sun Studios, very iconic, and I'm sure that while you were working there, you had some interesting experiences with people visiting or.
It was awesome, man. You never knew who was going to come in there because everybody that comes through Memphis, they had to go, they wanted to go to Graceland, but the real music people, they wanted to go to Sun because that place is historic, the first studio in U.S. history to ever be named a national landmark. So all the bands that would come through would want to stop there, and we would give the bands free tours if they were on tour. So our rule was, if you give us a CD and show us that you're a touring band, we'll give you a tour.
Nice.
So I was a tour guide. The tours were 40 minutes long, and I did that every day for 7 years. One day George Carlin got out of a cab, and I was working the register, and there comes George Carlin. He got out of a cab, and, "Hi, I'm George Carlin. I'm a comedian." I said, "I know who you are, man. You want to see the studio?" He was like, "Yeah." So we could just, if they were a big shot, you just take them back there, and it was just so cool. We were instantly friends with, because that's what they were there to see. So I said, Elvis stood there, and Bill Black played bass, and Scotty Moore. That's where he stood. Oh shit. It was just so cool. You never knew who was going to be in there. I showed Tom Petty through there, and he'd already been there and could have given me the tour. But it was one of the honors of my life to meet him. He's in my top 5, so it was just an honor to work there.
It was funny for me a couple years back. My whole entire family, we visited Sun Studios, and 2 parts of it kind of just stopped me in my tracks. One part early on when they talk about his beginnings in the gospel group that he was listening to. I'm sure you know this whole thing.
The Prisonaires, maybe?
Yeah. And so there's a version of their song, and then there's a version of him singing it.
Yeah.
And I was completely, I had tears coming out of my eyes listening to him sing that song, and just how pristine and pure his voice was.
Yeah.
And then 15 minutes later, we were in the studio, and they're, talking about the mics and all the stuff, and there's this woman who was giving the tour, and she's like, "Oh yeah, people still record here. We still have, at night, people still record here." And I'm "Oh wow, it'd be awesome to record here." And after, the whole day, we went to several other places, and we're back at the hotel, and I'm sitting with my wife, and she's like, "You are going to regret this if you don't find out if you can go in there tonight and record something." And I did just that, and it was a cool experience, man.
So awesome. It's awesome they weren't already booked that night, because
it was kind of crazy, because the guy who normally did the engineering, it was one of those things I don't know if I can do it, if I can come in, because it's, it's last minute, but my assistant might be able to come in.
Yeah.
And and I wish I could remember his name, but and he was completely laid back. He was
Yeah.
just like, hey, come on in, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be 2 hours. I paid for like 2 hours to record some vocals on some tracks already that I had with me. I had a drive with me, and you know, ended up we were started at 9, and you know it was like 4:30 in the morning, and we're just like hanging out, talking, drinking beers, and he's like, you gotta come by the next day, you know, I'll take you to Advent or whatever the other studio. Ardent. Sorry.
Yeah.
But we were on the road. We were like, we were going to Chicago the next day, and so, but it was a trip, man. It was a trip. What made you move from Memphis to San Jose?
So in early 2009, I gave a tour to Steve Jobs, who was in Memphis for a liver transplant, which wound up prolonging his life a few more years. The craziest thing about this is I didn't know that I was giving Steve Jobs the tour. I know who Steve Jobs is, but I didn't know what he looked like. When I gave him the tour, it was a private after-hours tour. His attorney, I had given his attorney the tour a few months prior. Well, a lawyer called my boss and said, we have a special guest coming in, and I want David to give him the tour. And my boss said, well, who is the special guest? And they wouldn't tell us. But this was a Saturday that they came. Of course, my boss was like, you know, show me the money or whatever, and they agreed to it. So on a Saturday mid-morning, the guy comes in, the lawyer. He tipped me $80. He said, don't ask him any questions. He's not well. I think you'll recognize him, but I didn't recognize him. He said, but don't ask him any questions. Just give him the tour the same way you did for me. Right, but he didn't say don't give him a CD. So I had just finished my 4th album, and when the tour was done, I thought, I still don't recognize this guy, but I better give him a CD. So I gave him one of my discs, and I told him it was very Beatles and Bob Dylan influence type stuff. And then later come to find out those were Steve Jobs' 2 favorite artists of all time.
Oh, wow.
So I think a lot of times, how much did that have to do with it? I still really don't know what happened, other than I think he could tell I was dead serious about music and passionate about what I was talking about, and that I loved that place and that era. And so I got a call. It was an email. The email just said iTunes. It looked like spam. I almost deleted it. But it was real, and they moved my wife and daughter and I from Memphis to Cupertino, it was San Jose, California, in fall of 2009. And I didn't know shit about Apple. I had an iPod. That was it. But I'd never touched a Mac. I didn't really know what I was doing on the computer side, but I knew music, and especially that old kind of music, which is still what I do for Apple Music now, which is work on the catalog team. So I make playlists and stuff. It's not just me, it's a bunch of us, but on all that old great music that means so much to me. So it was an honor to work at Sun, and it's an honor to work at Apple too. Very different jobs, but they're both, both music. So it's great.
Just interesting as hell, man. It's crazy.
Thanks.
Would you mind playing us another song?
Yeah, I'd love to. I think I want to play this one called Drive into Ojai. Ojai is a little town. I guess everybody knows of it in L.A., but I'd never heard of it. It's outside of Southern California, and I took Shelby there for our anniversary. Still COVID was still going on, but it felt like it had kind of been around for all of 2020, so it was in that period where people were starting to be like, well, F it, we got to start going out and doing our life in some way. So we went there for a little weekend anniversary trip, and this song came of it, so I'll try it. Get in the car, I know where to go. Southern California, take it slow. The lights are bright on the street tonight for driving to Ojai.
trees and drink the wine. Little shops sell soap and clementine. The wolfhound looks you in the eye when you hang out in we're driving to third verse different from the first. Let me see. Get in the car, I know what to see. Reservations, anniversary. I'll see you in room 205. We're driving to I won't drag it out. It does some strings and stuff, but that's the bass player's favorite song. He just thinks it's criminal if people don't think that's the best one on the record. My really good friend Isaac played bass on it in San Jose. He loves Ojai. I tell him they call about, what are the streaming numbers? What's it doing this week? And I'm, where's Ojai? And I'm like, it's, it's doing good. It's fourth. Fourth? Should be first. But
They need to know.
They need to know.
How do you balance the sort of the position, the experience that you have in the business with what you do at Apple, with what you do, creatively?
That's a great question. I keep it very separate. They're two separate things. I feel like I'm a double agent. It's like two, on separate sides of a quarter.
Clark Kent and Superman kind of thing.
Well, one side pays a lot more than the other, but affords me the ability to do the stuff I shouldn't say this, but that I really love, that my heart is in, that I think I'm supposed to be doing, which is putting out records and writing songs. At the same time, I'm a good stormtrooper for Apple. I work hard when I'm at work. I'm doing my business and trying to, do the best I can for that company that's taken such good care of my family and I. But I've seen them work people to death, and I don't want that to happen to me. So it's like I think they know that too. I think I've said this before. I think you make time for what you love, and I love hanging out with my kids and my wife and my dogs and doing these songs, and I really think that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I'm gonna keep doing it. Nobody can stop me. And the cool thing is, the new one, especially the last 3 records, when I put one out, I really feel like more people are hearing them. Like this is the 9th album. I'm still, small time, but 35,000 streams it just crossed in less than a month, and I'm proud of that. That's cool. That's people, there's people hearing the songs, and it's because the former records help the present records, and if someone hears a song from 4 albums ago because they heard one song off this, then it was worth doing this, and it was worth doing that one 4 albums ago. So something's got to give, and something's got to got to happen if you keep doing what you think you're supposed to be doing. Someone's gonna hear
I
that.
think your persistence is paying off. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like it's just little by little, and you're just gonna wake up one day and be like, "Oh crap."
I hope so, man. I always say I'm on the Van Gogh plan, where like that's ridiculous to say. It's just the silly side, I guess. But obviously, the joke is no one ever knew who Van Gogh was till he was dead, and then this guy painted a lot of shit, So I'm just gonna try to keep doing songs. It's important to me, and there's got to be a reason for it.
I want to play another one of the songs off the album, Women of LA.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me something about it.
So I hope I don't get canceled for Women of LA. It is about a very specific type of woman in LA that kind of, it's that Hollywood, fake nails, fake hair, fake everything. But I have a lot of friends that are women in LA and of LA. And it's just a fun little song. I was trying to do like kind of a Beach Boys type thing, I guess. But,
Well, here's another song off of Mania, the talent show. David Brookings with Women of LA.
All these women of LA have gone to the vending machines to pick out a new face. And they'll pay top dollar just to drive around and squalor, cause they think it's such a beautiful place. They gotta get their hair and nails done and get a tan so it looks like they've been in the sun. And these women of LA wear the name brand shades, cause it covers up half of their face. Cause there's some that look like Ewoks who went overboard on Botox, but their friends all tell them you look so great. They also hit the Hollywood Bowl and buy a t-shirt so it makes them look rock and roll. The women of LA. There's a spin class at 6:30 out the door. She's in a hurry cause she gotta hit the gym on time. Drop their kids off with their daddy or just leave them with the nanny, cause tonight they're gonna drink all the wine. And plus they got the same pair of shoes and leggings cause it gets all the dudes. While they listen to their hip-hop and they're posting on their TikTok while they wait until the end of the day. And they all wear neutral colors so they look like all the others. It's important that they all look the same. They're hanging out on Rodeo Drive and going into Starbucks and they take it outside. The women of LA. Where do they go at night? Wherever it feels right. The Rainbow or the Viper Room. Looking for something new, driving to Malibu. The girls are gonna be alright. All these women of LA have gone to the vending machines to pick out a new face. And they'll pay top dollar just to drive around and squalor, cause they think it's such a beautiful place. They gotta get their hair and nails done and get a tan so it looks like they've been in the sun. The women of LA. The women of LA.
Standing in this hellhole, my car's getting towed. I see it from the window, the shower has run cold. Your shoes off the table, and when I'm getting old, doing what I'm able. You don't know, they can't tell you. You don't know, this can't hurt. You don't know, they can't make you. They don't know, you awake. Yes, I can confess, there's bars on the window. The place is such a mess. The couch is on the table, although it's not my style. We've had it quite a while. I've never had a chance to purchase it at last. You don't know, they can't tell you. You don't know, this can't hurt. You don't know, they can't make you. They don't know, you awake. The money you withhold, you left me here with zero. My food is getting cold, I throw it through the window. So tell me to my face, your cards on the table. Do you think that I am bold, mentally unstable? Tell you, you don't know, this can't hurt. You don't know, they can't make you. They don't know, you awake.
That was 49 Feet High with Chemicals, Connecticut band. We've got a new EP, song called Chemicals coming out. The song that I just played was Complaints, but they have something new and a video that's coming soon. I'm sure we'll be able to play that. I think they're from, I want to say,
Connecticut.
Waterbury. No, the particular East Coast. I grew up in Hartford, so it was it's just like a little hop and a skip.
Yeah.
But back to you, man. David Brookings in the house here, Truck Stop Mixtape, entertaining us with tales of his life and career and songs. Why don't you play us one of your earlier cuts?
Okay, so I tried this one called Silicon Valley. It's, I'm from the South, so this is a Southerner's impression of living in the Bay Area for 10 years. And see what you think.
A little south of the Golden Gate, there's a place and it's really great. A short ride on the interstate to the Silicon Valley. The mortgages are outrageous. Don't go to Oakland, it's dangerous. No one speaks the same languages in the Silicon Valley. And the weather's always 70 degrees. They got orange, lemon, and palm trees. There's technology everywhere. The marijuana is in the air. There's nowhere else like it anywhere. It's Silicon Valley. People get in a panic if you don't eat organic. It's nowhere near the Atlantic. It's Silicon Valley. Everybody's faces in their phones. Look around, and everybody says hello all day long. Alright,
obviously this is all guitar solo time. They vacation in Tahoe or Big Sur for a week or so. There's no smoking allowed though in the Silicon Valley. We call it South Bay, Santa Clara and San Jose. Get married if you're gay in the Silicon Valley. In the Silicon Valley, in the Silicon Valley, Steve Jobs. So that's on Scorpio Monologue, the one that came out 2019.
The band album, one of the band albums.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about the Women of LA song. Has there been a song that you were surprised by the reaction, whether it be like positive or negative?
Yeah, because I think people take I do have a handful of songs that are kind of jokey songs, or that's almost like I would call that like a comedy rock song almost, where it's like a story song. But there's I remember I played that one time in this or it was a comment online at one of our shows. The guy was like, F you, I love Oakland. Just because I said the thing about, mortgages are outrageous, don't go to Oakland, it's dangerous. I'm trying to, first of all, I think it's funny to rhyme things that don't, mortgages and outrageous don't really rhyme. You make them rhyme phonetically, but also
Ewoks and detox.
Exactly. Botox, yeah. But it's like songwriting. You're an author. You're a character in a play. You're talking, and I think Randy Newman might be the best at this. You put yourself in someone else's shoes, a character in a novel, and you're writing from their point of view or something like that. I remember when we moved from Memphis to the Bay Area, someone said Oakland was the Memphis of the West, and so I'm taking that line. And I like Oakland too. I played a handful of gigs there. It was great. You take a line and it doesn't necessarily mean what you think. It's just a song. But you have to mean it at that time you're singing it. You better mean it when you're singing the song, because they can tell if you don't,
On the same note, how do you deal with any sort of negative response online? I know that you did the 209 songs of the Beatles. You did a whole Tom Petty series. You did a little short series on Bob Dylan, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff is sacred ground. People are very, very particular about people who do their covers and whatever. And I'm sure what kind of responses were you getting, and how were you reacting?
Yeah, I mean, most people were very nice about it, and super complimentary. And the ones that aren't, you just ignore them. I could have 50 people come up to me right now and tell me I sucked. And I would not, honestly, it'd probably hurt my feelings, but it would not deter me in the slightest. Because I think the most important thing you have to have as a songwriter, a musician, a painter, or a writer, anything, is this self-belief. I think that's the most important thing there is to doing that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much just ignore it now. I mean, I don't see much of it. Most people are pretty cool about it. Even if it's a heckler at a gig, I don't know. I don't see many of those anymore. But you used to be a heckler every once in a while. Like, they're not up there doing what you're doing. That's their role, is to be that thing, and
I don't interrupt you at your job.
Right.
Let's going back to things that have influenced you. What are some influences that are not obvious?
That's a good question too. I like Eminem a lot. I think that's not obvious. I do. I think those first 3 Eminem records are sick. I really liked him.
some other non-obvious things. I don't like a lot of mainstream new stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I'm middle-aged dude now or whatever. But I do try to see what people see in it or like about it.
Yeah.
And I think Billie Eilish is talented. I do. I like the new documentary. There's a Disney Plus new doc on her, and I get her, what she's going for, trying to do, I think, a little more than I did when it first came out. I remember when that song Bad Guy came out, it was scary.
Yeah.
I was like, this is some scary shit.
It was fun.
Yeah. But she's talented, so I don't think many people would think I would be into her. I'm not saying I'm into it, but I get it, at least,
For me, it's definitely a production thing. It's like, it's just somehow the sound is different, and therefore, a lot of people would like to attack the quality of songs nowadays. And there were plenty of silly, simple songs back at any era.
Yeah.
Most of them forgotten. So it's not that for me. It's really just like the production. Somehow it misses my
me
sweet
too.
spot in my ears. So a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. My big complaint with modern music, not that anyone cares, but it's a whole lot of it is just completely soulless to me. It doesn't seem like they mean what they're saying. It's just a whole lot of it is absolute nonsense in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like, take an average song back in the 60s or 70s, and it by and large would probably destroy a lot of what was going on now.
Yeah, and primarily for me, it's because of production.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
It's the difference. But I was going to ask you something else about. We spoke about my Cool Hand Luke movie poster.
Yeah.
And I remember at the last Nabu Wines thing, you had mentioned something about not having any songs in movies. Is that something that you are seeking or trying to, have like one of your?
Very much so, because I think to make money, you have to either be super famous or you have to tour. I can't tour too much because I do little things here and there, but because of the job, I'm pretty local. But the big untapped thing for me is for sure sync licensing, whether it be movies or TV, film, video games, apps. The avenues for that are endless, and so I've had the last few records done with instrumental versions too, because a lot of and I've tried to study up and learn on sync world a little bit, and sometimes the lyrics have to almost either completely match what the movie or show is about, or they don't want that at all, so they want like an instrumental vibe, or they'll say
have the stems. You need
or stems, exactly, or give us something that sounds like the Beastie Boys that we can pay a millimeter worth
But it's got to
of.
be about milkshakes.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
And you mentioned the Billie Eilish documentary, and of course, the documentary that's been the documentary where people are talking about is Get Back and the whole Beatles thing and the 70-hour.
Yeah, it's a long one, isn't it?
But I found every second entertaining. What did you think about it, being a big fan? And for somebody like you, I imagine that there's very little that you don't know about the Beatles. So what happens when you see something like this?
Well, I saw Let It Be, the movie, 20 years ago on a VHS, and it was grainy and it was depressing kind of, and it just I remember thinking like, I don't want to see that again. That was not Hard Day's Night. That was not Help. That was a bummer. But somehow I saw the first trailer for Get Back, and it looked like Hard Day's Night to me. It was Lennon dancing around and they're having fun and goofing off and just looking like they were really having a good time. Well, it's actually not 100% what Get Back is. Of course, there's a lot of bickering and you see them fighting, but you also see them. There's still magic there. There's a lot of magic still within those guys. Just to watch, you're like a fly on the wall watching McCartney write the song Get Back just on bass guitar, and you can see how frustrated George is, and you can see how seemingly at times out of it Lennon is, like almost like he's going through the motions, but then he's not, because when that rooftop gig hits and they have to prove it and do it, they really nail it. And I don't think anybody would sit around and say Let It Be is their favorite Beatles album, but you're getting to see them make an album and go through it. And it was interesting to me how they really didn't know what they were going to do. Throughout most of that movie, they had no idea, was there going to be a show? Where was the show going to be?
It was just crazy that it was being filmed. You know, like they were aware of it, and that they were just like, so we're really doing this?
Are we really doing this? Yeah. It nearly didn't happen right up until the last second. To think that the Beatles, were in that same kind of thing that all the rest of us are, in a lot of ways. But they were not. Someone had a really funny quote. It was like, the Beatles were just like us, except they're more talented and better looking and wearing more cooler shit, and just cooler. It's a great doc.
I was very happy to see. I'm a big John Lennon guy, so I feel like most of the stuff that I've seen in my life of him talking and any sort of documentary footage is after the Beatles. So all that stuff with Yoko and all the sort of the protest and the activism and
yeah.
So to see him be so playful on camera and aloof, and then also be right behind Paul as far as like, okay guys, we have to get this done. Let's get this done. Let's practice. He wasn't like missing rehearsals. He wasn't, he was there, and he was just, sometimes a little out of it, but he was. It was joyful for me to see that, to know that those guys were brothers. I mean, I just had like that moment when they're after George leaves, and they're just like kind of hanging around, and they start talking, and John takes Paul aside, and they start talking about, we really don't give him enough.
Yeah.
in this band, so we have to understand that. And then there's that moment when the three of them just like huddle.
I huddle, yeah.
Man, I was just like, look about it, and just like they were a freaking family. You could not get tighter than those guys could be, and they were like holding on to dear life, and it was such a beautiful moment for me.
It's amazing, and it really should. It's a miracle that thing exists, because it took someone like Peter Jackson to say, let me work on this, and go through hundreds and hundreds of hours, whatever it was, of tape. And for that organization, of which still is very much there, the Beatles, to trust him to do that and go through all that footage because of all the other work he's done, it's just great. It's amazing that it exists as a piece, as a movie. So yeah, I loved it.
Do you have, today's the anniversary of John Lennon's death? I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you have any sort of favorite John songs, and is there any one that you'd like to play for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Is this too close? Should I back this up a little bit? It's good? Okay. Yeah, let me try this one. So I learned a lot from that documentary. This is Jealous Guy, but he had it in the Beatles, and he started writing it in India, and it was called Road to Marrakesh, I think. And then it was also called Child of Nature during the White Album session. So I think it went through a few iterations before it turned up on Imagine. I was dreaming of the past, and my heart was beating fast. I began to lose control. I began to lose control. Oh, I didn't mean
jealous guy. I was feeling insecure. You might not love me anymore. I was swallowing my pain. I was swallowing my pain. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh, I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. I think there's another verse, but I'll just do one more chorus and call it. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh, I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. Look out, baby. I'm just a jealous guy. Watch out, mama. I'm just a jealous guy. So I love Jealous Guy. And it's just, man, what a writer. What a dude.
That's definitely one of my favorites, man. And it's one of those songs that very few people can mess up. I've heard so many different covers of that, and it's like, it's always a testament of one of the best songs just have many different like incarnations.
Yeah, because he was such an honest writer. That song's there's a ton of vulnerability in it, and like to say you're a jealous guy is it's not a good quality, and he's acknowledging it, and it's just a great song. I was gonna say I was lucky and got to go to the premiere of Get Back in LA. Shelby and I went, and there was one in LA and one in London, and Sean Lennon was there, Sean and Julian, and Stella McCartney was there, and Olivia Harrison was there. It was just wild. But I told Sean how much I liked it because I got to I went to lunch with him in New York like 10 years ago for an Apple thing. I was a label rep for his record label, but just told him how awesome it was, and it was just cool to get to introduce Shelby to say, "Hey, Shelby, this is Sean." It was just a trip, man. But he's a great guy too.
Is it weird to stand like near those two guys because they just have, both of them have so particular strong traits of like physically of John, but they're both different.
Yeah,
it's like this split.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's the first time I'd seen Julian in person. I didn't say anything to him because I don't know him, but yeah, it was kind of. With Sean, I of course had to remind him that we'd had lunch. He was like, "Oh, cool." He's got long hair and a beard, and he looks like he would be almost like menacing, but he's got kind of a high talking voice. Not high, but higher than it looks like. He's just he's genuinely like a sweet guy to talk to. But I was telling him, of course, I was armed when I had that lunch with him with the Steve Jobs story. I gave Steve a tour, and that's how I got my job at Apple, So I'm telling him that, and he goes, "Oh, Steve's so nice. I remember my 9th birthday, he came to the Dakota, and it was him and Andy Warhol, and he gave me one of the first ever Macs, and we were like drawing circle pictures on it, and I was like, wow, that story rips my Steve story. That's amazing." We laughed. Yeah, that was a trip. It was a trip.
Let me play something from another band. This is gonna be a band called the Family Township, a New England band, very much in the vein of the best sort of 70s classic rock, but with a little twist. This is a song called Stand Blind. And when we come back, of course, more David Brookings. That was the Family Township, New England. I think they're from Cambridge, Mass, but not 100% sure. I do know that one of the band members is this guy named Mark Pinansky, who I've become friendly with because him and his wife, during the pandemic, had an online streaming show. They have a duo called Devotion, and they basically do duets. So it's just like Barbra Streisand and Barry Gibb, or
that's cool,
Reunited and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
His wife is an amazing singer, and he is a crazy singer, songwriter, and that band. I'm excited for those guys.
Yeah, that was a cool
great
song.
stuff. Yeah. But back to you, man. back to you. We were talking in the break about a little bit about work and sometimes not to talk about our day jobs, but what about those other side gigs? Like I know you played a crazy show this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Just like first of all, how did you get hired for that? And why don't you tell me a little bit about the story because it's kind of funny.
Well, I do. I play solo acoustic shows. I play in a classic hits duo, and I even got hired kind of recently to go do like a singing telegram thing for this guy's friend. He was like, "Hey, will you go sing to my coworker tomorrow morning at 6:30 in the morning? He's always late to pick me up for work, so just kind of razz him and why are you late again? Whatever, just make something up." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, it's where do you live?" And I said West Hills, and he was like, "Oh, he's in West Hills.
Perfect.
I'll pay you $100." I maybe should ask for more, but I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went over and did it. It was a little scary.
Walk down the street.
I had this feeling like, am I going to get shot? You know, 6:25 in the morning. It was still dark out. This was before daylight savings time. Anyway, so yeah, I love playing gigs, and the gig I had the other night was a private party for a woman, really nice family, and her husband was retiring. He was a surgeon. And yeah, it was just like, it was a 4-hour gig at a dinner party. 4-hour solo gigs, pretty long.
Yeah.
But I've done those before. You just 40 minutes, take a break. 40 minutes, take a break. It's over before you know it. But it was getting on.
And what I love about you is that you're a classic also singer songwriter in the storyteller sense, where you do like to present your songs and give little stories about them and. I see you perform and I go, damn it, I need to talk more because I get tired. I'm cramming 20 songs in an hour or something like that, and it's like you're probably doing 3 songs.
No, but I talk too much. No, I didn't talk near like this at that gig. It was just song after song, and I did mostly covers. But at the end of the 4th hour, she said, "Hey, would you stay another hour?" I said, "Sure." We worked that out. At the end of that hour, "Would you stay another hour?" So I said, "Okay." So I played from 5 to 11, and I have never played a 6-hour solo show. I don't think that record will probably ever fall unless they hire me again. And I was kind of proud of it. Like that's a good little run. That's a solid show.
What's the weirdest song that you've ever been requested for you to play and that you've actually been able to kind of pull off?
The weirdest song.
Or just like a song that's not you.
A song that's not me. I used to play acoustic weddings in Memphis, and there were a few that I didn't know before, but I enjoy learning songs too. So I don't even remember what it was called, but I didn't know it. There had been some weird, there's strange gigs sometimes, or just positions you find yourself in that are just odd. Another gig last week was playing with the duo I play in. We got hired to play
What's the name of the band?
the Retro Image, and we do like Beatles and Bee Gees and Beach Boys and all the bands that start with B. No, I'm kidding. It's a lot of 60s, 70s, 80s stuff. And our weekly gig is just this little barbecue restaurant in Woodland Hills called Rib Ranch. I'm always trying to get you and Jeremy to come to it. But we got hired to play this kitchen tile store and the grand opening of it. And that was 4 hours. So I did the 4-hour gig on Thursday, and then the 6-hour gig was on Saturday.
It was a warm-up.
So I was thrilled to do nothing but watch football on Sunday.
Who's your team?
My team is the Washington football team. We've won 4 in a row. I'm from Virginia, so it's yeah.
Would you like to play another song for us?
Sure. Let me try. Yeah, let me think here. I'll try this one. better take a rain check on that one. I think I remember it. I'll try a little bit of this. Well, let me play the cover. There's one cover on the record. It's a Tom Petty song called Magnolia, and it's from his second record. But I'll try this one.
From a table across the room, she was signaling me with her eyes. I walked over to be introduced. I said hello, she just smiled and said, I know a place not too far away. We could get away for a while. Yeah, that's when she kissed me and told me her name. I never did tell her mine. Oh, Magnolia. I remember the smell of the wind through the sweet magnolia. And I know that she's out there somewhere in the world. She's forgotten me, but I remember her. Southern night, her eyes were as black as the sky, and I wondered aloud just what I had done right as I lay down with her by my side. Then she looked up at me and she took hold my hand, said, now I must tell you goodbye. There in the moonlight as I watched her leave, I felt a chill down inside. Oh, Magnolia. I remember the smell of the wind through the sweet magnolia. And I know that she's out there somewhere in the world. She's forgotten me, but I remember her. Magnolia.
That's a cool song. Tom Petty was so good, no one's ever even heard of that song. It was just on the second round. A few people have, I'm sure. It's on the second record, and I think for most people that might be, one of their best songs. It's a good song.
It's crazy to be able to kind of go through his career and listen to all those records and find all these gems. I mean, for me, it's been really cool since his passing to listen to his last few records and find so many cool songs there, and that because whatever reason you didn't give it a chance the first time around, or whatever, it's just another new Tom Petty record,
Yeah, right. Like, at a certain point, that's how it is with everybody. Yeah. But he never wrote a bad song. I've never heard a bad Tom Petty song.
No, I agree with you there, and I just thought, it's one of those things that even more than the Beatles for me, and I love the Beatles, but the thing that I love the most about Tom Petty is his ability to make songs sound easy. And
sure.
There's always like a little trip up in his songs. He always like does a little weird, the second verse will just have 3 lines instead of 4, and the third line will be half as long, but it just sounds the same. You're like singing along or playing along, and then you try to play it. And you're like, oh, it will,
Yeah. Me and you and Jeremy and I went to that Tom Petty documentary on the
right.
making of Wildflowers that was so great. I love, I just eat up those documentaries. I would go see a documentary on, some shit band that I hate just because I like seeing documentaries. But to see it of someone that I really like is really fun.
It was cool to see that one because I didn't know that there was so much not anguish, but like he really worked hard at that album.
Yeah.
On that album, on Wildflowers.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And you did a whole. How many songs did you do in a row?
For him, it was 50, and I don't think I can do another one. When Petty died, I was so just gutted, like everybody was. But it was like I did 50 Tom Petty songs in 50 days, and it was, kind of trying to be some sort of cathartic, therapeutic thing to play those songs and learn some from him that I didn't know, and it was something I wanted to do, so I did it.
We're talking about, when these greats are heroes of ours, they pass, and what we go through. And of course, as we get older, then more of them go by.
Yeah.
In this particular week, there are several people that passed away that were influential on me, in particular Greg Tate that I want to mention. I was going to talk about him later, but what do you do? You know what I mean? How do you get through that? Because there's grief, there's like a friend, there's a family member, and it's just like you get, like I said, gutted. But then there are people who are kind of always, provided soundtracks to your life or just gave you hope when you didn't have it or something. And what do you do when they go away? The people that you don't know, but you know them.
That's a weird, interesting thing to talk about. Nobody talks about that, but it's true. I think it affects people deeply. Like when Prince died, when George Harrison died, Greg Tate. I gotta check that stuff out.
He was mainly music, like a writer.
A writer, okay.
Yeah, but he was also a musician for a band called Burnt Sugar Orchestra in New York. But he wrote for the Village Voice for many years.
Village Voice, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the early '90s, and his writing was just so. He's one of the sort of the first guys that kind of brought hip hop into sort of
Mainstream,
but as far as like his critiques but he didn't stop there. I mean, it's just like he has several books and stuff like that. But for me, where I grew up and his writing just made a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things you connect to. And it's like, I haven't followed him in years or whatever, whatever the last book that he put out. And now it's just, I found out that he passed away. And it's kind of crazy because I think about how these people validate your life.
Yeah.
They kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of crazy because it's like, I feel like in our lifetime, we had that crazy whammy of, I don't know, it was just like, it felt like Bowie and Prince and then Petty, and it's just like they were just like boom, 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 and Lenny and all these other people.
Yeah, I think that one of the good things about social media is so much the grief you see fans and friends and going through on that. It's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. It's also sort of obnoxious when you die and then 2 seconds later somebody writes "Rip," rip Bowie. See who can post a picture the fastest of it. But then I go down like.
Well, I was gonna say about you because you have a good collection of pictures with famous people.
Oh well, yeah, but I don't just post "Rip," with a picture of them. Like I'm not gonna put a picture of Rip Seal when Seal passes, But then you go down the rabbit hole of seeing interviews and. Listen to music or cool stuff that you didn't see about that person. When John Prine died, I went, I'm a Prine fan, but he's got some stuff that was mind melting.
It's like one of those things, and it's even more. It can be even more interesting and exciting when you're not a big fan of these people, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I missed out, and then you dig. And John Prine was one of those people for me. And it's like I knew the songs that were covered by other people, and his bigger, was well-known songs, but I went through. I went online and streamed every album from the beginning to end. It was just like, and then you go, how was this person not in my life?
Yeah. he didn't. I love just trying to break down not just songs but the writers, and nobody wrote like him. He had his stuff was funny, and it was, but a certain type of humor. It was like that first album of his was just phenomenal. But I didn't know until he died that like he did that first album in Memphis with the same band that recorded with Elvis in the 70s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they were like, what the fuck is this? Is weird. This is weird stuff. Who is this guy? There's no like, where's the beat to lock into? That's not what his stuff was really about. I mean, he had stuff like that, but
yeah, for me, he's the songwriter that comes the closest to somebody like Bukowski, where it's just like,
yeah,
it's just the point of view is definitely it's almost from the gutter up. You know what I mean? But it's still very everyman.
It's everyman and down home.
Yeah.
And like, it's not as sinister as some other people's writing.
No, because it's somehow that like it almost sounds like if you were to take him out of that he would miss it.
Yeah. But like Leonard Cohen had a darkness and a different kind of sense of humor, but it's different than John Prine's, and that's what I love about songwriters. And then Dylan can do that too, for sure, but it's different than Prine. Even Dylan was like that guy was one of the best there was. Yeah. So for Dylan to say that is something.
Let's go from those greats to this great on my couch, and talk about one of the songs off your album, Keep It Real.
Yeah, I wanted to play this one because it's a fun, upbeat one. I don't like to write about the same stuff over and over, so I like to have a new kind of intention, at least with every song. So this one I wanted to write like a power pop western, sort of as an ode to my dad, who loves to sit around and watch Gunsmoke and like old westerns, Bonanza, exactly, loves that kind of stuff. So I started kind of researching westerns, and the first line came, it was, "Look at me, I'm tough as nails, I'm outlaw Josie Wales." And that, I like that. And then I don't usually do this, but I just looked up on Wikipedia just westerns. So I put in random things, and I've never even seen a lot. There's something called the Six Gun Snow White, whatever that is. Just different lines from the song. And then I also played ukulele on it as the predominant instrument, as opposed to guitar, which is different for me. So it kind of melded into this kind of fun song. And Josh played lap steel on it. So it's sort of country, but it's a power pop country western song is what I was trying to do, which I'd never done before.
You accomplished the goal. This is David Brookings with Keep It Real off of Mania, the talent show. Truck Stop.
Look at me, I'm the tough as nails, I'm the outlaw Josie Wales. Nothing's gonna pin me down. Footloose and fancy free, as a kid I was garbage pail. Nothing's gonna pin me down. Let me tell you the deal. Let me give you my spiel. Long as I can hang around, I'm gonna keep it real. Look who's going out tonight, it's the Six Gun Snow White. I'm gonna drink my fill. Pretty girls from around the just gotta ram on, believe, don't quit, keep going far as you can go. Apache kid with a Denver doll, it's a real live outlaw. I'm gonna make you see this is real, it is not a joke. He was watching Gunsmoke. It's gonna make you feel. Let me tell you the deal. I used to play down Bill. I'll tell you like I told them all, I'm gonna keep it real. As long as I can hang around, I'm gonna keep it real. Keep it real. Comes a time when you're drifting. Comes a time when you settle down. Comes a light, feelings lifting. Lift that baby right up off the ground. Oh, this whole world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. There comes a time you and I, we were captured. We took our souls and we flew away. We were right, we were giving. That's how we kept what we gave away. Oh, well, this whole world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. Comes a time
Yes, the Wild West there, amazing group doing Comes a Time, Neil Young classic, and I'm back here with Mr. Brookings, who I want to thank for being on the show and giving us his time and letting us ask weird questions and
I had a great time, man. Thanks for having me.
Would you mind playing one last song for us?
Yes, let's. I want to play you guys Tough Crowd. Tough Crowd's on the 4th record. I had a gig in Memphis. I know this is not VH1 Storytellers, but I had a gig in Memphis for 3 years where I'd play at this little Sun Studio Airport Cafe Wednesdays from 4 to 7. For 3 years I did this. And it was always packed, right? But they were not there to hear the guitar player. They were there to get a shot or drink a beer and get some food and get on a plane. But it was cool. I would make good tips and sell some CDs. But most importantly, perhaps, was that I got Tough Crowd out of it. So this was my, which has become like one of my, I don't have any hits, but one of my better known songs. Like some people have covered it, and I think it holds up pretty well. It's Tough Crowd.
That's a tough crowd when you're singing into silence. Nobody claps. In your heart you feel the violence. When you play well and you know it, but the crowd doesn't show it. Only one thing you can say, you should say it out loud. That's a tough crowd. You tell a joke to the room and it's funny. Nobody laughs, but the joke is so money. It went exactly like you planned it, but they don't understand it. Only one thing you can say, you should say it out proud. That's a tough crowd. Oh, yeah. Ba-da-da-da, ba-ba-bow, ba-ba-bow. Play one we know. They yell out, please play it. They say play Brown-Eyed Girl, but you don't, 'cause you hate it, even though it's good. 'Cause your own song is awesome, yet but somehow you lost them. Only one thing you can say, gotta say it out proud. That's a tough crowd. Oh, it's such a tough crowd. That's a tough crowd. Truck Stop Mixtape. Good night. Thanks again for having me, dude. It's fun.
Pick and all. David Brookings. Thank you, man. That's definitely one of my favorites. Thank you, seriously.
It was a blast, man. Thank you.
I can't wait for the next thing, man.
Thanks, man.
Here's David Brookings and the Average Lookings doing I'm in Love with Your Wife.
Not every song needs a stupid introduction or talk before it, but this one kind of does, I think. The song's called I'm in Love with Your Wife, and it's about Eric Clapton and George Harrison. George Harrison was married to this girl, and Eric Clapton basically stole her from him. So this song is Eric Clapton telling George Harrison, I'm in love with your wife, and I'm coming for her. She did.
Yeah, Yes, I know it's not right, and I can have any girl I know, 'cause I was in Derek and the Dominoes. But I'm in love with your wife. I'm in love with your girl. I know I should get my own squirrel. And if you think you're living the dream, I play lead guitar and cream. But I'm in love with your wife. Yeah, and even though you got fame and fortune, you played in the best band in the world. I don't care what you say. I wrote Layla, now get out of my way. But I'm in love with your wife. I'm gonna see her tonight. I've been in more bands than you. In your whole life, I just count two. And I saw screaming girls in herds with blind faith and the Yardbirds. But I'm in love with your wife. Oh yeah, she looks wonderful tonight. Yes, I'm in love with your wife. When I was young, you gave me everything. You needed to show me where to go. Way out in the desert, a piece of you resides. But I'll carry all of you inside. The storm blew in. I saw you one last time again. I didn't get to say I was proud of you. I didn't get to show you what I teach my own kids every day. When you go through life, you have to pay a price. I didn't get to thank you for this life. Now that you're gone, I see you every day. I see the path I didn't know. In the mirror, I see your face. We're in a better place, but sometimes the sorrow seems to grow. The storm blows away. There you are to lead the way. I didn't get to say I was proud of you. I didn't get to tell you what to thank you for my life. I'll always have this song, but my other chances are gone.
After year being locked inside, I think I've gone insane. I may have lost my brain. I can't find my way every day. It's hard to understand what's going on, there's just too much noise. I think I lost my voice. I've got nothing left to say anyway. I'm all out of hope and my faith has been bleeding. It's all in my hands to try to make it better now. Better now. It doesn't make it right if I believe it. Gotta be willing to fight and make it better now. Better now. See your face upon the screen, but I can't see your eyes. It's just a temporary disguise, full of despair and debris. Look again, trying to make some sense, but that's when I realize I know the truth is a lie. My own reflection staring back at me. I'm all out of hope and my faith has been bleeding.
show when he got on stage and the lights were low. Gonna play that song written in his room on that little amp in the afternoon. Oh, those 8th grade girls never looked his way, so he had to sing what he couldn't say. It was crazy dark in that little hall, but the spotlight's on, so you stand up tall. Singing out to the bleachers, listen up parents and teachers. God only knows where it ends, and we'll see where it goes, but it was Mania at the talent show. Take them out. Yeah, and all this time, song was going strong. On the choruses, they were singing along. And the bullies too, who were in that room, got the cameras out and they started to zoom on that little kid they had never heard. But the mania drowned out every word. He got a standing ovation, and I'd be his destination. Where it goes, but it was Mania at the talent show. Signing autographs by the car outside for the freshman girls who had almost died when they heard that song from the 6th grade kid who they never knew was so talented. Then a bunch of dads couldn't stand to sit, so they all got up, made a mosh pit. There were teacher girls flying off the stage, cause the mania had them acting strange. Singing out to the bleachers, listen up parents and teachers. God only knows where it ends, and we'll see where it goes, but it was Mania at the talent show.
David Brookings, our guest tonight. Killed it. Played several songs. We talked about his record, and he's still here, hanging out somewhere. He's still chilling in the back there.
Where is he?
But I'm playing music. It's New Music Night. A bunch of people have released things, and this next song is by a band, a metal band that I know from the Spanish rock scene. And they're called Coatl, and they have a song called Combustion. And Alma, the lead singer, was nice enough to send us a video about the song, so she's going to tell us right now. There you go.
Hey everyone, this is Alma from Coatl. I'm the singer and guitarist, and I just wanted to introduce to you guys one of our newer videos. This one is called Combustion, and we had a lot of fun making it. If you enjoyed it, make sure to check us out live. Coming up on December 3rd, we're going to be playing in Maywood at Bricks Lounge and Bar. So check us out on Instagram at Coatl Music. Enjoy!
My
that chip off of your shoulder? What will it take to get that monkey off your back? You stare into the mirror, but no one looks back. Overeducated by the finest schools, they sold you wisdom, but nobody gave you tools except for a silver spoon and a lighter and some fuel. It ignited you. Blue blood, silver spoons, white lines point to you. What were you to do? Little boy in a grown man's suit, set away 'cause nobody knew what to do with you. Carried a family name and all that it means. Being disconnected ain't at all what it seems. It's a nightmare to have all your dreams. It's just the curse of these dreams. Peter Pan with a purse full of gold. If you never grow up, then you will never get old. Never trust nobody, so you'll never get sold. It's just what you were told. Blue blood, silver spoons, white lines point to you. What are you to do? A grown man in a little boy's suit went away 'cause nobody knew what became of you. The fire keeps you warm, never want to do harm. The fire keeps you warm, never wanted to do harm. Just wanted to keep warm. Cold as blue blood with a silver spoon. That's all he was to you. That's all he was to you. That's all you'll ever be too. Unless that little boy pulls through.
Stacey Burrows, y'all. Stacey, very talented human being, working on a documentary called No Good Drunk about her family in Texas. A particular family member, and that new song is actually a song called Blue Bloods, Silver Spoons. It's from a project called Means, where she explained to me that it's all about those who have means and those who don't, and how that fits with true happiness and fulfillment. And she's also working on a new country record, Fool's Gold Mine. She's a busy gal, super talented, and also one half of Mommy Tonk. Funny comedy duo. Very talented woman, and I'm so proud to call her a friend, Stacey Burrows. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Thank Mr. David
Am I on
Brookings.
here?
You still? Yeah.
Oh, I'm still there. Thank you all. I've been on here this whole. I thought I was
You're
going
like
like a half
picking
hour
your
ago.
nose, scratching your head.
I hope I didn't. I don't know what I did. Thank you so much for having me, dude.
Thank you for being here. Next week, everybody, it's going to be a tribute to Tears for Fears. So expect some crazy covers from people from all over the world doing your favorite Tears for Fears songs. It's going to be a trip. And the following week, it's our holiday hoo-ha 2021 holiday songs, originals and covers from everybody. Hopefully, we'll have a David Brookings holiday tune in there.
Ah, maybe so. Maybe so.
Closing off with two Beatles songs by David Brookings. Both of them with appearances by Shelby,
Mm.
and both of them John Lennon songs. Thank you for being here, everybody. Lead with love. Be kind. Don't do anything stupid. And if you do it, let us know so we can put it on the show.
Record it so you can send it to him.
Truck Stop Mixtape, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is David Brookings. Because and If I Fell.
This is the hardest one, folks. Let's see what we get.
Because the world is round, it turns me on. Because the world is round. Because the wind is high, it blows my mind. Because the wind is high. Love is old, love is new. Love is all, love is new. Because the sky is blue, it makes me cry. Because the sky is blue.
Hey guys, welcome back to 209 Beatles songs in 209 days. Today is day 41. We are at a beautiful John Lennon song called If I Fell. And Shelby's going to sing this one with me. And it goes like this. If I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true and help me understand? 'Cause I've been in love before, and I found that love was more than just holding hands. If I give my heart to you, I must be sure from the very start that you If I Fell. Thank you guys so much for listening to these. Song tomorrow is I'm Happy Just to Dance With You. That's coming up next on 209 Beatles songs in 209 days.